Got it. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Rosario Cirillo. And Rosario is a little Italian that she calls herself, a sunshine of energy, enthusiasm, and passion. Absolutely. She is a certified CX and happiness trainer, advisor, speaker, and author, with a mission to bring more happiness in the world, one interaction at a time, and the business world being her chosen playground. So Rosario helps conscious leaders make happiness their company's competitive advantage with advisory, speaking, and training focusing on improving customer and employee experience. She is committed to bringing more happiness into the world by empowering companies to achieve growth, productivity, and profits by cultivating happiness. So wonderful. Without further ado, Rosario, it's over to you.
So welcome, come and start laughing with me. We are gonna start very, very untraditional, especially for some of you that is here for the first time. So the first one is really a welcome laughter. So I invite you to look at each other into the gallery and acknowledge each other's presence. So this is the moment also, if somebody still doesn't have their camera on, put your camera on and just look at each other and smile. Laugh with me. And when we do as a laughter exercises, we basically the way that we do it is also we just simply breathe in and we breathe out. That's another way that we can laugh. So what I invite you to do now, it's you breathe in, and for every exercise that I will propose you, I will first show it to you and then we do it together. So we are gonna breathe in and we breathe in the color yellow. Then you're gonna hold it. You hold yourself, you fill up with yellow, and then once you cannot hold it anymore, you breathe out laughing and you radiate this yellow. Ready, steady, go. Breathe in, yellow. Hold. It's unmute yourself. Now I know why. I'm like, why am I the only one laughing? But it's you, I see you're all muted. Unmute yourself and laugh with me. We're gonna repeat it one more time, and this time when you hold, you can also collect all your worries and then you release them out. Ready, steady, go. Breathe in, yellow. Hold, collect all your worries. You can make also your worried face and release. And with the next one, while you hold, you think of something that you're grateful for. And when you radiate gratitude to the rest of the group. Ready, steady, go. Very well, very well. Yay! We often have this intercalare in laughter yoga where we do very well, very well. Yay! Do it with me so that we activate our playfulness and unmute yourself. You're all still muted. Very well, very well. Yay! Very well, very well.
Very well.
Yay! We are going to do a couple of more exercises of laughter before I actually tell you who I am. So it's going to get a bit uncomfortable for a few more minutes, and then we get more into comfort zone, maybe, or maybe not. So the next one, for some of you in US, is just morning. And for some of us, it's actually becoming evening and it's very dark. So for both of us, we are going to do the sunrise. So the way we do the sunrise laughter is that we imagine like we are a sun. So we are going to go like, the sun is up, and then we radiate and we laugh. Ready, steady, go. I can see you like this one, so we're going to do it one more time. Well, we need a lot of sunshine, so we go. And then one more. You see that we have a special guest today. We have Goldfish, which comes and go. So we are gonna laugh with him, and the goldfish swimming goes like that. It goes and then we see him go and we laugh. Ready, steady, go.
Just keep swimming.
It will come up. It will come up again. And the final laughter is we're gonna do. It's the side. There it is. Golden fish. No. And the final one is the sunflower laughter. So we now imagine we are a sunflower. So with the first A, we root ourselves. With the second A, we stretch, and we stretch more, and then we can blossom. So we laugh while we are blossoming. Ready? So we go in the ground. Yeah. So we have a good 8 minutes of laughter, and then we'll take it at that. Normally we need just about 10 minutes to get all of our dose of chemicals, the joy cocktail, getting activated. So we did this because this is actually very good for our health. It's very, so just even if sometimes we have to almost it seems like fake laughter at the beginning, but our body does not distinguish between the real and the fake laughter. So it produces the same joy cocktail. And plus, when you get the hang of laughing with people, we activated the mirror neurons and we just start laughing and it becomes real. Now you got a little teaser of it. And the final exercise that we do is normally after we have even laughed it for 10 minutes or so, we have anyway activated a lot of energy. So then we reground and we recenter doing some sort of breathing. So that's the final exercise I ask you to do before I tell you more about why we are even doing all of this. And this breathing exercise is grounded in a lot of science, and it combines a practice that is called heart coherence with part of spiritual practices and a bit of yoga. So it's really a big gem of all those practices. So again, I'll first explain it to you, and then we start it, and then I'll be adding some little ingredients as we go through. So the status of heart coherence is reached by breathing in and breathing out at the same count. So we breathe in 5 and we breathe out 5 by slowing a bit our breathing, and you imagine that you are breathing from the heart. So we go into this, you can do it with open or closed eyes. Normally closed eyes is best. And after each 3 rounds of breathing, I'll add a little more. Ready, steady, go. So take a comfortable position and start slowing your breathing. So you breathe in, count until 5, you breathe out, you count until 5, and you repeat it 3 times. you breathe in, count 5, breathe out 5, and you imagine that you're breathing from the center of your heart. And with the next cycle of breathing, when you breathe in, you imagine you're saying, so we're going to have a mantra. When you breathe in, you say so. So, and when you breathe out, you say hum, and you can do it mentally.
Oh, okay.
And basically, so means the universe and hum means I am. So when you repeat these 3 times, it's like the way of connecting to the universe and breathing in with that mantra. So breathe in, so, breathe out, hum.
Um,
And with the next cycle, when you breathe in and you say so, you can imagine really connecting to the sun and receiving all the energy from the sun. And when you breathe out, saying hum, imagine filling up your body with all of that energy. And then once more, when you breathe in, you receive from the sun. And when you breathe out, you imagine that all this energy goes down to your roots and it grounds you. It really grounds you in the ground, in the energy of earth. And again, for a couple of cycles. And the last few cycles, again, when you breathe in, you receive all this energy from the sun. But now when you breathe out, you radiate from your heart to everyone in this gem. So you're radiating back your energy to everybody else. And again, and blossoming like a sunflower. And do 3 cycles of this on your own timing. And when you're ready, you can come back and open your eyes. Close off the last cycle, and when you're ready, you can come back. Thank you all for playing along. Before I tell you more about myself, I want to ask you to take a moment to now reflect on how it felt to do this. Maybe for some of you the first time, and maybe so any thoughts, any feeling that is going on with you, take it with you. And if you want, you can share in the chat one feeling and one insight about how was it for you to start in this way and to go through those practices of laughter and of breathing. Nice, thank you for sharing. Okay, if no more sharing, then I'll finally introduce you more about me and what I'll be doing. So I won't say much more than Colin mentioned, but I will say, so for some of you, like you mentioned some at the beginning, also weird, doubtful, but then actually if you start doing it, you get all of those energy. And that's also really for me. So like, yes, I am this little ball of energy, but to bring those type of practices has been for me really something most recent of the past few years, because I always very much used to be, at least at work, a very much left-centered brain. Like on work, it's about delivery, it's about analysis, it's about data, it's about action. So I've been in the world of customer experience for 20 years, first for 13 years in a corporate world, and only in the last 8-9 years as a freelance. In both worlds, I've always been working with the voice of the customer, voice of the process, voice of the employee to drive change. And especially in the first years of my consultancy business, I was working a lot with Net Promoter Score, embedding Net Promoter Score as a driver for change, and also using the Maslow hierarchy of needs to transform data into insight. And that is where, for me, I started to think, like, what's more? Should we really focus on improving Net Promoter Score, or should we rather focus on happiness, improving happiness for the people that we work with, the clients, society overall, and then let profits and results follow? And that is when, in 2016, I started to think about this concept of happiness-driven growth. At the beginning, it was just a vision. And then I started to think, okay, I really want to concretize this a bit more. So in 2017, I actually started to sign up for every possible course with the Design Thinkers Academy. And that is when I got for the first time in the Design Thinkers community. But what I also did, I partnered up with somebody in US called Stan Phelps. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, Stan Phelps. And together we wrote a book called Yellow Goldfish. And what we did, we start basically looking at examples of companies which were already using happiness, but they were already putting happiness at the center or doing something that contributed to happiness for people. And that is where I first come across this thinking of the goldfish. So now my question to you, before I tell you why the goldfish, is, do you know what's the average size of a goldfish? Anyone in the chat taking a guess about the average size of a goldfish? And now goldfish is really in front of us, showing us how big he is, 5-6 centimeters. Oh, when you're going really far. So the average, it's actually, the average is 7 to 10 centimeters. And now, do you know what is the biggest possible? And I think I can say here, Jan, it's gone a bit closer. What's the biggest goldfish fish you think it exists? Yeah, that's way too much, Warren. Yeah. So the world Guinness record of goldfish is actually 50 centimeters. But if you think that the average is 7 to 10, that's 5 times the average. And if we then look at the sunflower, another chance for you to guess, what's the average height of a sunflower? Anyone? 1.2 meters. Yeah, 6 feet. Yeah, here we were talking about Fahrenheit before. Like, I get completely confused with the feet and the meters. 1.5 meter. Yes. Yeah. Any more guesses on the average height of the sunflower? 2 meters. Yeah, you guys are right there. So the average goes between 1.5 to 3 meters, depending on the quality. Now, what is the biggest sunflower? How big do you think, how tall is the world Guinness record for a sunflower? Any idea, anyone? Way more than that. Yeah, I see 4 or 5. It's actually more. So the biggest sunflower, yeah, exactly. Yes, you went very close because it's 9.17 meters. It was in Germany. Like, in a moment, we will share with you a mirror board, and then you can see a photo of what did they have to do to actually keep up this sunflower up. So basically, it turns out that both the goldfish and the sunflower have their growth. It's influenced by 5 different factors. Now, any guess here also in the chat, what are the factors that influence the growth of a goldfish or a sunflower? Yeah, the size of the tank, exactly. And then, Yeah, sunlight, so you have it there, sunlight and water, soil, sun, environment. And can you think of the corresponding elements, factors in business? Because basically what we saw is that those factors that influence the growth of a sunflowers or of a goldfish, they also influence business and individual growth. Any guess in business, what's the size of the tank? Yeah, need to cultivate, nourish, what else? Empowerment, yes. Yeah. So ecosystem, exactly. So if we look at, especially at the business, what we saw is that you have the size of the bowl or the pot is the equivalent of the market. You have the number of other goldfish, which for a goldfish, it's competition. With the flowers, interesting enough, it can also turn into collaboration. Yes, indeed, you have the other fish. And then you have the quality of the water, the soil, that's the economy. You have the first 3 months, which is the startup, and you have the genetic makeup, which is the differentiation. So the idea of what we are going to do now is that all of those factors, they influence both the business and the individual growth. And I think here, I don't know, Colin, can you share in the chat the mirror board, or I'll first share it. Let me share screen in the meantime that you have the...
Rosario, do you want to do the Mentimeter at all?
No, it's okay. We don't do it anymore. So basically what you will have anytime soon also in the chat is the link to this mirror board, where you can see, I show you already the difference between the average goldfish and the world record. And you can see here also this was the world record, 9 meters, 0.17. And look, they had to build this entire thing for keeping it up. And you have an overview of the factors. Now, what is going to be our exercise for today? You will see that we have built here a board, and looking at the number of participants, we will be using the first stages of growth. So what we are going to do, we are going to look at each of the stages of growth. So each group will be taking care of one stage of growth: grounding, which is the moment in which the sunflower gets in the ground; reaching up, which is when the sunflower starts to grow up. And for each of those stages of growth, you will also be looking at what are the factors that influence either our individual growth, considering the sunflower metaphor, or the business growth. And you can see if you want to do one or the other, or you manage to do both. I'll show you one pre-filled example on the laughter, which we also have done a bit already. So that's how it would look when it's filled in. So you can add in the farmer names, the name of the people you have in the group. If we look at challenges, opportunity, for example, on our individual growth, one challenge when it comes to laughter is that we only laugh if we watch good comedies or Netflix series. However, there is also the opportunity that we can laugh as a choice, as a physical exercise, and have the same effects. So if we look first at the obstacles and the aids, the obstacle could be, well, right now there are not really that many fun Netflix series, and I actually already watched Big Bang Theory 3 times. So what can help me? An aid can be laughter yoga practice. And then if we look at from the metaphor, from this sunflower perspective, we can imagine what are all those factors that impact the growth. So what could be the soil when it comes to the challenge? It could be that I am not used, or I find weird to fake laughter because I grew up thinking that laughter is only for children, and that represents a bit my soil. But the opportunity to change the field is to join a laughter club where there will be all sorts of people that will actually laugh like I do. And similarly, as a help, I can imagine as a flower that can help me blossom would be my laughter buddy, somebody I laugh with every single day, or something that can help me in the first few days as a nurturing or as a support is to do a 40 days challenge. that's how I started, by the way. After becoming a laughter yoga teacher, I had to do a 40 days challenge, first for 10 minutes and then 20 minutes a day, just laughing by myself in front of the mirror. Or if we look at the obstacles, we also have snails, which make the sunflower not grow enough. A snail in this case can be a schoolmate that has been teasing us when we were growing up, or that still tease us. And if we look at the business side, the challenge can be people in our office are very serious, but the opportunity could be that people that laugh together bond together. So a way to find a field in which we can laugh together would be to have a laughing session during the next event. And similarly, obstacles could be, my colleagues would find this very silly. Then an aid could be, let's do a laughter team building session. I hope you got a bit, please let me know if that clarifies a bit what's the exercise that we are thinking to ask you to do during the session. So the idea is that now we will break out into rooms, and depending on your number, if you are in breakout room, you have grounding. So you look at the stage of grounding, everything that happens at beginning, you know, as an individual, if you are just figuring out what is your career choice, or as a business, if you are in the initial stage, what does it mean grounding? How can you make it work? What are, again, the challenges, the opportunities, the obstacles, the aids, and so for each stage. Is it clear? Any questions? Clear for everyone? And then you find also a bit more, I mean, if you need it, but yeah, any more theory on the steps, you'll find it in the mirror board. So in the mirror board, if you move around, you'll have everything that you need. And we are focusing on the 6 stages because of the number of people. But if, yeah, anyone just wants to do also one of the happiness petals, that's also a possibility. Any question before we open the breakout rooms?
There's a question in the chat, Rosario.
Oh, let me
What
see.
are the 5 growth factors?
Yeah, so you find them here. Actually, let me go here. So those are the 5 growth factors, so that we mentioned before. So you have the size of the bowl for the fish or the pot, which is the equivalent of the market in the company. You have the number of other goldfish or flowers, which can either be competition or collaboration. Quality of the water, soil, which is the economy. First 3 months startup, and genetic makeup differentiation. And it's really, yeah, think it, and the other thing is, from the sunflower perspective, the idea is to think, and you also have it here again, the details of the exercise, but it's really to think, yeah, what is the seed, what is the soil? Just use a bit the metaphor of the sunflower and see where it brings you for each of the stages. Let me see, anything else in the chat? Okay, then I would say we are ready to go. And I see we have only 4 groups. So it's going to be the first 4 areas of growth, the first 4 stages.
Okay, should I?
You have the mirror link. Yeah, the mirror link is already there.
Okay, I'm opening the
And we
breakout.
see you all in 15, 20 minutes, correct? 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Enjoy.
All right, you should have, okay. Unassigned.
Yeah, because probably like me, like you're double with the goldfish. I was also double with my iPad.
No, I just didn't assign the co-host. I made Goldfish a co-host.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm here because of the co-host role, and that's okay. Yeah.
Would you like to go? Would you like to go into room, Yunyan?
I don't dare to. I don't know where the recording goes to.
Yeah, it's up to you. can.
Let me stay here. I see my
Okay.
friend Goldiefish coming to join
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
everybody is, yeah. Mhm.
Well, that was great. Well done, Rosario, for being brave and starting with the laughter. It's it's often quite a courageous thing to do, but I can promise you there were one or two people that absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
In
it
fact,
was
I think everyone did, and it's difficult to judge, right? When
yeah.
you're online. Mm.
And we saw the thing was, I realized only later that the microphones were out, so then they were muted, so the effect of the sound was not there at the beginning. But yeah, it was funny.
I wonder, Rosario, what are the reactions that you get from individuals when you invite them by a laughter immediately? So even without introducing your name first.
Well, so that was the first time that I did it. So that was really, so that was for me the failing forward, the completely out of comfort zone. Because in all the other sessions, the way that I'm bringing it to business is that I first do a regular introduction. I even first share what are the benefits. I don't make it too long because it's better to experience it. But we always start with 5 to 10 minutes explanation of the benefit of laughter yoga and what we are gonna do. To really just start plain laughing was like the first time. I was like, okay, I was like, okay, Colin, I go with your, you challenge me to do this, let's do it. So
100 points for your courage.
That's lovely. And it's also interesting you said that the motor neurons get activated when you laugh, and then other people start laughing. And I guess a part of that communication is lost in online context to a degree. And so
yeah, I mean,
not a full body laugh, it's limited.
Yeah, I discovered laughter more actually during the pandemic. And that's also how I actually even joined my trainings, because what happened was actually for the design. So I first learned about the power of smile when I was writing the book. And then I decided to bring more laughter into whatever workshop. But then I learned one laughter exercise and I did it more often. And with the Design Thinkers conference of 2019, I did a workshop also on that in person. Then we went into pandemic. So I just started, but for me, it was still just laughter. I knew only a little. But then I started to connect with somebody in Italy that did those laughter Zoom all the time online. And because we were at home pandemic, I could just join them. So I started to learn much more about laughter yoga. And eventually I became a leader, and I did my leader training fully on Zoom. And then last year in August, where finally they were allowed to go in person again, I flew to Italy and I did an in-person trainer as a teacher. And that is very different, because then indeed you have all sorts of dynamic. I mean, and I think for me, there is a lot also of the games that we play, because before we just got into laughter, we also play games. They are very similar games to the games that we are used to play as an energizer as design thinkers. So there is also a lot of, the yes and game we would play, or, the mind bogey we play, where we have the four, like the person in front of you has to do the position, and the one in the left has to ask questions about the color, and the other one about the numbers. I don't know if you guys ever played it. I learned it at the Design Thinkers Academy. When we play all those type of things, you automatically start to laugh. And then you become ready to also just laugh as a physical exercise. So yes, in person it works better, but then once you get used to it, you're also able to do it in this way.
And you have got quite an infectious laugh, I must say.
Thank you.
And then it also, in the online space, it also becomes a little bit more challenging, because the laughter doesn't carry through, and you don't hear everyone else laughing as well.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, no, that's true. So sometimes you have indeed the microphone that doesn't catch all of the elements. Or one thing that we also do a lot, it's warming up exercise with clapping and ho ho ha ha ha. But all of that online, yeah, it goes completely in an asynchronous way. But then what I really learned the moment that also my laughter got freed up again, if you want, is that then every chance you can take it to laugh. So also if things that the sound is not good and so on, then you just, yeah, that becomes a reason for you to laugh and take
Yeah.
it in that way.
Yeah, lovely. And so is the laughter one of your stable ways of working? Is that kind of a meta skill? And so no matter which way you're working, do you bring laughter into all of the processes and things that you run?
Yeah, actually, yeah, now, yes. So it's, there will always be, it might be, even if it's a completely serious things like a customer experience masterclass, but laughter will become the energizer in between. So, or for example, what I use it also in customer journey mapping or ideation session, that before we go into ideation, we will do the brainstorming cocktail of laughter. So we put in 25% creativity, 25% yes, and so we then mix it, and then we drink it and laugh. So there will be some laughter. And the reason for that is that it activates your body, it activates your right side of the brain. I mean, it's the same concept why, as design thinkers, before doing ideation, we did all sorts of games, because you want to activate the right side of the brain. And with laughter, you do it right away, because you don't think, you just laugh. And also the other things that happens to your body is that you oxygenate more, because when you laugh from the diaphragm pushes up the lungs. And by pushing up the lungs, you get more carbon dioxide out and more oxygen in, which automatically makes you more creative and more oxygenated, therefore more productive and more energetic.
I remember reading when my daughter was much younger. And so when kids, or even adults, when you cry and you cry and you cry and you release a lot of tension and stress and pent up. In fact, the same thing happens when we laugh. I don't know if you know anything about that. So when we laugh intensely, it's also a really strong therapeutic energy release in the same way that crying is.
And with laughter, there is one extra element, which is the laughter is your parasympathetic system, part of the autonomous system. When you laugh, you are immediately activating the parasympathetic system. So you cannot be stressed, the sympathetic system, and laugh at the same time. And that is why it's the best antidote to stress. So if you're stressed and you laugh, you automatically feel that, yeah, it's immediate feeling of release, because it's biological. Jan, you had an hands up. You want to ask something?
Yeah. I wonder how it's so you unfortunately are not always with me 24 hours a day. So how do I start the very first step if I want to smile or laugh? So what is the first step that I do or even think
in your day? Or so, because I missed what you say, you are not laughing 24 hours a day, or what did you say at the beginning? What was the limitation?
So you guided us how to enter at this moment. And if the guide is not with us, and in a very cognitive way, we know it helps, but what is then the first step to do so?
So that's it, you need to learn the practice, the exercises. So I think the very, very first step is to let go of the worry. So you really have to open up that possibility, because at the beginning there is so much. I mean, also for me, this is new for me. A year and a half ago, for me, it was like, really, do I just have to breathe in and laugh? That cannot be. So there is a lot of resistance. So the very first step is to let it go. And then it's like what worked for me was I started by doing it with groups, so with people together. When I had to do it by myself, I was recording myself, because if I record myself or I open Zoom or in front of the mirror, I'm doing neuroneurons with myself. So it's really silly, but it works. And then the rest, it's just you breathe in and you breathe out, and then you laugh, and you have to find some things that works for you. So I started to come up with laughter. So the one that works for me is the one that I imagine a dear friend calls me. So I go like, and then I imagine she tells me the most funny story, and then I just laugh. And then it works, you know. And then the other thing for me has really been about finding my laughter buddies. So the one thing I did this teacher training in August, then I tried to do it on my own for a few weeks. And then as of October, with the people I did the teacher training with, the other students, we started to say, why don't we meet every morning on Zoom? And at the beginning, it was 3 of us. So at 7:30 every morning, like sometimes I really literally just get out of bed and I go in front of Zoom on the iPad, and it just works. And it's like, and I can really see the difference of my days that start with the laughter versus days that don't start with the laughter. It really, it sets you in a completely different mindset. And one of my favorite quotes from laughter yoga is that it says, I don't laugh because I'm happy because I laugh. So that it's really about, it's the practice of laughing that brings me more joy and brings me more happiness, because I start to have a different attitude towards the things that happen in life. And even on bad days, I get my joy cocktail from the laughter and not from what happens around me.
Thank you. While you were talking and you said friends, and we are with friends here in this group, I can imagine this one, that Colin and I would get online 7:30, early for him, early for me, and that we make the promise to each other, don't laugh, stare, don't laugh, because we laugh very, very.
Yeah, you do it already, you know. It's like, you now remind me, actually, the very first thing also that you do into those trainings, you get assigned a laughter buddy. And your objective is to laugh for 1 minute a day. So like, you just call on WhatsApp, it's 1 minute every day, 1 minute. You're just gonna look at each other, laugh for 1 minute, and then you close. And then sometimes, you know, it becomes 5 because you tell each other something. And with my laughter buddy, we started also making up laughter, because I would say, how are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, this morning I wake up really angry. Okay, let's do the angry laughter. And laugh, you know, or, oh, this morning I feel so tired. Okay, let's stretch. And that's as simple as that, you know. They just become really, really simple things, and you can do, and then you can come up with everything, you know. You can say, oh, let's do the goldfish swimming, or, you know, just say something, throw me a prompt, you know. Then it becomes a bit like improvisation. So
yeah, well,
I go prompt. Let's make a laughter. Let's give me a prompt.
I give you a prompt now. It's time. Yes. It's time to close the rooms. Okay, I am going to close the rooms. Is that okay?
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, it's lovely to see how you immediately grasp everything as an inspiration or an idea. Don't give yourself a second to think about it, or even get into overthinking it. And
it's just
using your body, using your body to convey it, and then just let it all out and let it all go.
I think it's a really great technique to have a buddy and just to meet for a minute. Really, I think that sounds really effective. I love that idea. Well, welcome everyone.
Look at Horia with his background. Love it. Beautiful.
It was because of Miro, you know. I got this.
Brilliant.
After the Miro session.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I think if you are all here, I would suggest you take a moment and we do a waterfall sharing, which I also learned myself in this community, so that you take a moment to think about what was your biggest personal harvest and the biggest insight that you get from the breakout room. And you write it in the chat, and then when we say, okay, go, we share it in waterfall style. So biggest personal harvest and biggest insights.
Sir Rosario, I'm sorry, where did you want us to put those answers?
In the chat, just in the chat. And then we say, okay, when everybody's ready, we do hit enter now, and then we get this waterfall sharing.
Thank you.
So if you guys have all typed and you're ready, you can hit enter, and then we can see what were the sharing of ideas, power metaphors, listening to how others integrate you into practice, get yourself a laughter buddy. I should try to be more like Sunflower. Any other sharing, or and otherwise what I will do, knowing, looking, yeah. Yes, I'll lift you up indeed, and make sure you set your garden up for success. Yes. So who wants them to share some couple of verbal sharing? What were the key conclusions? Or maybe one sharing if I look at the time. Anyone wants to share? Anyone wants to share more about the conclusion from their group? Or we can have more sharing in the chat. And I'm also curious. So at the beginning, Aurea, you were ready to share. Go.
I think we can make a parallel and find out that our human life it's similar to the plant's life. So we need some specific conditions to grow and blossom and develop. And I think we are on the same common ground in this respect, and that would be also a good vibration and good energy. It's the life energy which I think we all share, we humans and the plants as well, as a common thing. So if we feel good, we also grow and express ourselves in a good way and make the other people feel good as well. And we give to others something good. We share to the other people. This is what I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else that wants to be shared? I'm also curious. Who was talking? Susan,
Yeah,
I think you were talking.
So what I noticed is that there's something interesting happening where it becomes very planned and very, because you have all the boxes and you think about it very methodically, how do you grow things? But because it's plants and a fish, it's also very organic. So it's both. So it's making the process of looking at you in your organization both organic but also very plant, and I think that's a really lovely mixture.
Cool. And how is it for all of you? So also in terms of one thing we did not ask you at the beginning is what was the energy and the mood with which you came in? And now if you think about how you go out, I'm going to ask you the question, how much did this session contributed to your happiness? So if you think about your mood, your energy, all of your well-being, where are you? And you can go on a scale from -10 to +10. How many points did it detract it or it gave you? And you can also just type it in the chat if you want, from -10 to +10. How do you feel from all the things that we have done? Yes, you see some points coming in. Yeah, it's always the most difficult when people come already happy, but that's +1, it's all we need. +1, it's all we need. Very cool. And then I ask you one word summary. Before then, I'll have you do one final breathing exercise before giving the word to Colin for the closure. So one word summary, if you had to pick one word to summarize this session. Hello. Yeah.
To be
Yeah,
mindful
actually,
and be, to be mindful, and when we are down with our mood, to switch on a higher, on a positive mode by doing something like laughing or
yeah.
laughing yoga or changing our state of being. So
Yes,
be conscious about our state of being and then do something to improve it and increase it, and then to have a minimum level to keep it on a long term.
yeah. And then you mentioned that, and Aurea, by the way, on the board that I shared with you guys, on the Miro board, if you go on the bottom, you actually have links to all sorts of resources, also extra information on the power of laughter yoga, and links to a blog post where you can find all sorts of other links on how to bring more laughter in your daily life. And there are also, so I also run a podcast, there are also links to heart coherence practices that you can do. So they're both there for you if you want more information. Now, what I want to close off with is one laughter, and that is the well done laughter, which you can do at any time for yourself. I'll first show it to you. It goes, first you give a pat on the shoulder as a thank you to everybody that has been here. The second pat on the shoulder is for all your teachers, past, present, and future, because we are also thanks to our teacher. And the last thank you, it's like this, is for yourself, for having taken the time, for having gone out of your comfort zone and done everything. And then you hug yourself and you laugh, and you can also wave. Ready, steady, go, unmute yourself. Let me hear your laughter. And we go, eh,
Yay!
Very well. Yay!
Yay!
Very jammed. Yay! Thank you so much, Colin. I pass you the
Thank
happy
you.
ball.
Thank you, Rosaria. Rosaria, that's beautiful. Really appreciate that. Let me slideshow. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that. Certainly feeling a little bit more energized. And next week, we are actually going fishing. And we are going to be catching some goldfish. No harm will come to any goldfish, I promise you. But please do join us the week after, which we will be announcing in a week's time. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it. We are going into a, oh, there it is. Oh, my goodness, forgive my moving around here. If you have any ideas for Wednesday Web Jam, we really are open and receptive to ideas that you might have. So please join our community, send us some of your ideas. You can contact any one of us. We are a whole team. You can like and follow us. In the chat, I've also put some information. We have a website, and we are on all the social media platforms. This is our merry bunch of pranksters and innovators and change makers and collaborators. And so we'd love to hear from you. And of course, it does require some funds keeping this little engine going. And so if you would like to support us in any way, you're welcome to buy us a coffee. The in thing now in South Africa is a flat white with oat milk. So you can throw in a little bit of oat milk there if you want as well. And of course, right now we go into the backstage where you're welcome to hang out for half an hour, and it'll just be informal. We will stop recording and we can continue the conversation. So please join us and